see. And remember, the priest represents the religions of the East. One of the recognition keys to Freemasons is, if someone suspects you're a Freemason, they might ask you if you're a traveling man. Do you do much traveling? If you don't know the proper response, they'll know that you're not a Freemason, or a member of the Rose Cross Order, or many of the others who exist under many different names, but at the top, all are the same. But if you are, you would answer, yes. As a matter of fact, I have done some traveling in the East. And you might be asked at that point, what is it that you seek? Why are you traveling in the East? And the answer would be to find the source of illumination. So this is significant. You then realize that the brother of the king did not attend this ceremony. And he is to be admonished for this. Who is this brother? Well, you'll notice that the lion king, not the cub, but the older lion, is golden, beautiful, magnificent, strong. His brother is dark, weak, cowardly, and impotent. His brother also has something very significant in this film, a scar over his left eye. And indeed, it is the mark of Cain, according to these people who believe all of these things. And Cain is jealous of his brother, who is the king, saying that he should have been the king. He has all the brains. His brother, the king, has all the brawn and doesn't deserve it. Is that correct? Well, it doesn't matter. That's what the movie portrays. If you know anything about the Arthurian legends, the legends of the Holy Grail, you know that this dark lion also represents the Fisher King, who was wounded in the thigh, or, as some accounts have it, between the thighs. And you know that he is doomed if he ever takes the seat. Oh, yes. This movie is full of symbolism, and it tells the old story, and it tells what's happening in the world today and what is to come. It is a message, and it's being taught to your children, and you're the ones who took them to see it. Now remember, Pride Rock is in the east, for the sun rose behind it. It is the seat of the master of the lodge. And we quickly learn that the land in the north is barren, and no one lives there, or at least we're led to believe, for it is an evil place. And in the lodge, no one sits in the north. For the north is said to be the place of darkness, and in the movie, this land in the north is the place of darkness. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not reading from a script, I'm telling you what I know from out of my head. Scar, the dark lion, the lion which represents Cain, sends the newborn cub by deception and trickery off into the north, where he almost loses his life. And the north indeed is fearful and evil. It is the land wherein dwells the hyenas of the enemies of the lions, and indeed of the entire kingdom. And when you hear these lions talking, you immediately discern, not lions, I'm sorry, hyenas. When you hear these hyenas talking, you immediately discern that they represent the black and Hispanic races. There's no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. And the intent is clear. They represent the black and Hispanic races, and because they dwell in the north, the place of darkness, The movie conveys to your children that they're evil and bad and dangerous and ignorant and stupid as they are portrayed in this movie. Well, the young lion barely escapes with his life, but he does escape. And Scar makes a pact with the hyenas. He tells them that if they will side with him, he will kill the king, his brother, and he will rule in his stead. And the hyenas, of course, agree to this because he promises them that they will never be hungry again. Now, one of the things that you must understand is that the Golden Age is portrayed brilliantly here. The kingdom is full of lush growth vegetation. All of the animals are happy and fat. There is no strife in the kingdom except the ill will between the Lion King and his brother Scar. Which is to say that as the world existed then was the best that has ever been, which is another lie, for this nation, the United States of America, is, or was, I should say, until recently, the best that had ever been. I hope you understand the significance of what you're learning and the significance of what was taught to your children as they sat watching The Lion King. You see a romance blossom between the young lion and a young lioness that promises fulfillment, promises a fertile kingdom, promises that the future will be just as good as the present. Indeed, the birth of the young lion in the beginning of the movie is an expression of the overabundance, the cornucopia of Babylon, the fertility of the land and of the kingdom, plenty for all. And what happens? What happens, ladies and gentlemen, is incredible, for it follows exactly the same old story that has existed throughout the history of the world, that has been used over and over again to manipulate peoples and nations and kingdoms, and divide and conquer, and to promise things that cannot be delivered to those who will faithfully follow the manipulators, the puppet masters, those who pull the strings. This is all being taught to your children. The hyenas and Scar set up the situation that will result in the death of the Lion King. And, as Scar has planned it, the death of the young lion also. Under a pretext, another lie, another deception, Scar takes the young lion out into a gorge and sets him on a rock. Again, there is the rock. Sets him up on a rock under a tree. Under a tree. You see, in those days, all sacrifices were performed upon a rock, under a tree. Sometimes it was an elm, sometimes it was an oak, sometimes it was something else. And if you know the old story of Isis and Osiris, then you know that the acacia tree was one of them. But the young lion is placed upon a rock under a tree. And the hyenas have assembled the herds at the head of the gorge. And of course there is no way out.